This might be the first electric car that actually feels fun. Not just fast in a straight line, not just quick numbers on paper, but something you'd actually want to drive. And somehow, it's made by Hyundai because for the longest time, electric cars have followed a very simple formula: quiet, efficient, fast, but only in one direction. They were designed to be smart, to be practical, to make sense, but fun. That was never really the point. And that's exactly why this car feels so different, because the moment you see it, you already get a hint that something unusual is going on. The design still has that familiar Ioniq look, clean lines, sharp edges, that futuristic pixel-style lighting, but then you notice the stance. Lower, wider, more aggressive. It doesn't just look like an EV anymore. It looks like something built to be driven hard. And once you get behind the wheel, that feeling only gets stronger, because this doesn't behave like a typical electric car. Most EVs are all about smoothness, linear acceleration, no drama. But this feels alive. The way it responds, the way it moves, it almost feels like it's trying to entertain you. And that's not something you usually say about an EV. Press the accelerator, and yes, it's fast. Instantly fast. But that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is how it keeps you engaged. There's feedback, there's character, there's a sense that this car actually wants you to push it. And when you do, that's when it really starts to shine. Through corners, it feels planted, controlled, confident, but at the same time, playful, like it's giving you just enough freedom to actually enjoy the drive. And that's a very different experience compared to most electric cars, because usually they're too perfect, too predictable. But this has personality. And that changes everything, because for the first time, you're not just driving an EV because it makes sense. You're driving it because you want to. And that's a big shift, but it's not just about performance. It's also about how this car fits into real life, because at the end of the day, it still needs to be usable. And that's where Hyundai has been smart. You still get the practicality, the space, the comfort, the everyday usability that people expect. It's still easy to live with, still efficient when you need it to be, still quiet when you're just cruising. So it doesn't sacrifice the basics. It just adds something extra on top. Something that was missing before. But of course, it's not perfect, because no car really is. If you're expecting the raw emotion of a traditional performance car, this might still feel a little different. And for some people, that difference will matter. And then there's the bigger picture, the question that a lot of people are still asking: can an electric car really replace the feeling of a gas car? For a long time, the answer was no. But this gets closer than anything else, because it doesn't try to copy the past. It creates something new, something that feels familiar, but also different in a good way. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the future of driving was never supposed to feel exactly the same. Maybe it was supposed to feel better, more engaging, more connected, more enjoyable. And if that's true, then cars like this are just the beginning. Because this proves something important. Electric cars don't have to be boring. They don't have to be predictable. They can be exciting. They can be fun. And they can actually make you want to drive again. So now the question is simple. If an electric car can give you performance, practicality, and real driving enjoyment, what reason is left not to switch? Is it habit, or is it just hesitation? Because this car doesn't feel like the future anymore. It feels like the present. And once you experience that, there's no going back. So what do you think? Is this finally the EV that changes everything? Or are gas cars still more fun? Let me know in the comments.